Bullies harass disabled boy. Elon Musk's heroic act stuns everyone. Leo Martinez wheeled himself into Westfield Preparatory Academy, his heart racing with excitement and trepidation. The prestigious private school was a world away from the underfunded public schools he was used to. But here, finally, was his chance to pursue his passion for science and technology with the resources he needed. As he navigated the polished hallways, he couldn't help but notice the stares and whispers from the other students. He was used to standing out, but here, among the children of the wealthy and privileged, he felt even more conspicuous. Leo found his first class, advanced physics, and positioned his wheelchair at an empty lab table. As he unpacked his textbook and notebook, a shadow fell across his desk. He looked up to see a tall, athletic boy with a sneer on his handsome face. "You must be the new charity case," the boy said, his voice dripping with disdain. "I'm Jason Calloway. My father is on the board of directors here. And you are?" Leo Martinez, Leo replied, trying to keep his voice steady. "Nice to meet you." Jason let out a harsh laugh. "I doubt that. Just stay out of my way, Crip, and we won't have any problems." With that, he turned and strode to the back of the classroom, high-fiving a group of similarly arrogant-looking boys. Leo felt his face burn with embarrassment and anger. This was not the welcome he had hoped for. But he was determined not to let bullies like Jason ruin this opportunity. He had fought too hard to get here. As the teacher began the lesson, Leo forced himself to focus on the concepts of force and motion, losing himself in the elegant complexity of Newton's laws. This was where he belonged, no matter what Jason Calloway thought. He would prove his worth through his passion and intellect. The class ended, and Leo gathered his things, steeling himself for the gauntlet of the crowded hallway. As he approached the door, Jason and his cronies blocked his path. "Not so fast, Crip," Jason smirked. "We need to have a little chat about how things work around here." He placed a hand on Leo's wheelchair, leaning in close. "You don't belong here, and I'm going to make sure you never forget it." The next few weeks were a nightmare for Leo. Everywhere he went, Jason and his gang were there, taunting him, tripping him, even dumping his books on the floor. They seemed to take perverse pleasure in humiliating him. Even worse was the indifference of the teachers and administration. No one seemed to notice or care about his torment. When he tried to report the incidents, he was brushed off with platitudes about boys being boys. It was clear that Jason's father's influence insulated him from any consequences. Leo found solace in his studies and his secret project. In the school's high-tech labs, he was quietly building a prototype for a new kind of propulsion system, one that could revolutionize space travel. It was his ticket to his dream internship at SpaceX. If he could just complete it in time for the national science competition, he knew he could catch the attention of Elon Musk himself. But his tormentors had other plans. One day, as he was working late in the lab, Jason and his crew burst in, laughing and jeering. Well, what do we have here?" Jason sneered, picking up Leo's delicate prototype. "Looks like Crip is trying to be a rocket scientist." Leo felt a surge of panic. "Please, put that down," he pleaded. "I've been working on it for months." Jason's grin turned malicious. "Oh, you want this back?" He tossed the prototype to one of his friends. "Let's play a little game of catch." They laughed as they tossed the fragile device back and forth, ignoring Leo's increasingly desperate protests. Then, with a sickening crack, the prototype hit the floor and shattered. Leo stared at the ruins of his dreams, hot tears stinging his eyes. In that moment, something in him hardened. He would not let this defeat him. He would rebuild, and he would succeed, no matter what Jason Calloway did. Unknown to Leo, his story was about to take an extraordinary turn. Unbeknownst to the bullies, another student had witnessed their cruelty and captured it on video. Outraged, she posted it online with the hashtag #JusticeForLeo. Within hours, the video went viral. Social media exploded with support for Leo and condemnation of his tormentors. The story caught the attention of national news outlets, who descended on Westfield Prep, demanding answers. Under intense scrutiny, the school administration scrambled to control the narrative. They suspended Jason and his accomplices, issued public apologies, and promised a full investigation. But the damage was done. The world had seen the ugly truth behind the polished facade of the elite school. Among the millions who viewed the video was Elon Musk himself. The visionary billionaire was struck by Leo's story, a brilliant young mind, facing incredible odds, still driven by a passion for science and space. In Leo, Musk saw a kindred spirit, someone with the resilience and determination needed to change the world. Musk knew he had to act. He reached out to Leo directly, offering not just condolences, but an opportunity. He invited Leo to visit SpaceX headquarters, to tour the facilities, meet the engineers, and discuss his ideas. For Leo, it was a dream come true. Despite his ordeal, he felt a renewed sense of hope and purpose. With Musk's support, he knew he could overcome any obstacle, even the deeply entrenched biases and cruelties he faced. As he packed for his trip to SpaceX, Leo felt a fire in his heart. This was his chance to prove himself, not just to Jason Calloway and Westfield Prep, but to the world. He would show them all the power of resilience, intelligence, and a dream. Leo's visit to SpaceX was a revelation. The bustling hive of innovation and exploration was everything he had ever imagined and more. As he toured the facilities, marveling at the sleek rockets and cutting-edge technology, he felt a sense of belonging he had never known. Musk himself was a force of nature, his brilliant mind and relentless drive evident in every word and gesture. He listened intently as Leo described his prototype and his vision for the future of space travel. "You have a rare gift, Leo," Musk said, his eyes alight with enthusiasm. "A mind like yours is exactly what we need to push the boundaries of what's possible. I want you to know that you have a place here at SpaceX, whenever you're ready." Leo was overwhelmed with gratitude and excitement. This was the validation he had always craved, the recognition that his ideas and passions mattered. But Musk wasn't finished. "I also want to address what happened to you at Westfield Prep," he said, his tone turning serious. "No one should face such cruelty and discrimination, especially not someone as brilliant and driven as you. I'm going to use my platform to expose the systemic issues in our education system that allow this kind of behavior to go unchecked." Leo was stunned. He had never dreamed that his personal struggle would become a catalyst for change on such a scale. But he knew that Musk was uniquely positioned to make a difference, to shine a light on the dark corners of privilege and power. As he returned to Westfield Prep, Leo felt a new sense of strength and purpose. He knew the road ahead would not be easy, that he would still face challenges and biases. But he also knew he was not alone. He had the support of one of the most influential figures of the 21st century, and a growing movement of people who believed in the power of resilience and the potential of every individual. The real battle was just beginning, but Leo was ready. He had the tools, the allies, and the unshakable conviction that he could make a difference. And he would not rest until he had proved it, not just for himself, but for every dreamer and innovator facing impossible odds. Returning to Westfield Prep was like stepping into a different world. The hallways buzzed with tension and whispered speculation. Everyone had seen the viral video, had watched the mighty Jason Calloway brought low by his own cruelty. The power dynamics had shifted seismically, and no one quite knew how to navigate this new landscape. For Leo, the change was palpable. Where once he had been met with sneers and jeers, now he encountered curious glances and tentative smiles. Some students even approached him to express their support and admiration, sharing their own stories of bullying and ostracism. But not everyone was so welcoming. Jason and his cronies, though chastened, still cast baleful glares in Leo's direction. And there were others, too, who resented the sudden spotlight on the school's failings, who saw Leo as a troublemaker upsetting the natural order. Even some teachers seemed to view him differently, their previously indifferent gazes now tinged with wariness or even hostility. It was clear that Musk's intervention, though welcome, had also stirred up a hornet's nest of resentment and defensiveness. But Leo refused to be cowed. He threw himself into his studies and his projects with renewed vigor, determined to prove his worth through his achievements. In the labs, he worked tirelessly to rebuild his shattered prototype, incorporating new ideas and improvements inspired by his visit to SpaceX. Word of his brilliance and dedication began to spread, attracting a growing cohort of like-minded students who rallied around him. Together, They formed a kind of unofficial science and technology club, a space where they could share ideas, collaborate on projects, and dream of a future without limits. Slowly but surely, Leo's influence began to grow, not through force or intimidation, but through the power of his ideas and the strength of his character. He became a symbol of resilience and possibility, a beacon for all those who had ever felt marginalized or dismissed. But Jason and his father were not ready to relinquish their grip on power so easily. Behind closed doors, they plotted and schemed, determined to discredit Leo and reassert their dominance. The stage was set for a showdown, a battle not just for the soul of Westfield Prep, but for the very future of education and opportunity. As the end of the school year approached, the tension at Westfield Prep reached a boiling point. The national science competition, the one Leo had pinned his hopes on, was fast approaching, and he was putting the final touches on his rebuilt prototype. But Jason and his father had other plans. Mr. Calloway, using his considerable influence, had been quietly pushing the school administration to downplay the bullying scandal and protect his son's reputation. He even went so far as to suggest that Leo had exaggerated or even fabricated his allegations, painting him as an attention seeker trying to capitalize on his disability. These whispers and insinuations began to take their toll. Some students and teachers who had previously supported Leo began to distance themselves, fearful of the Callaways' power and vindictiveness. Even some of Leo's closest allies in the science club wavered, unsure if the fight was worth the risk. But Leo refused to back down. He knew that he was fighting not just for himself, but for every student who had ever been bullied, silenced, or pushed aside. He poured his heart and soul into his prototype, determined to create something truly groundbreaking. As the day of the competition approached, the school was abuzz with anticipation. Leo's project, a revolutionary propulsion system using advanced plasma technology, was the talk of the campus. Even those who had doubted him couldn't deny the ingenuity and potential of his work. But the Callaways had one final card to play. On the eve of the competition, Jason broke into the lab and sabotaged Leo's prototype, damaging key components and erasing critical data. It was a devastating blow, a cruel and cowardly attempt to crush Leo's dreams once and for all. When Leo discovered the sabotage, he was heartbroken. All his hard work, all his hopes, seemed to be in ruins. For a moment, he felt the old despair and helplessness creeping back in, the sense that no matter how hard he tried, the world would always find a way to beat him down. But then he remembered the words of Elon Musk, the unwavering support of his true friends, and the fire of his own convictions. He would not let this defeat him. He would not give Jason and his father the satisfaction of seeing him broken. With grim determination, Leo set to work repairing the damage, calling on every ounce of his skill and ingenuity. It was a race against the clock, a desperate battle to salvage his dreams from the wreckage of Jason's malice. As the sun rose on the day of the competition, Leo emerged from the lab, exhausted but unbowed. In his hands, he held his prototype, scarred but unbroken, a testament to his unbreakable spirit. The final showdown was about to begin, and Leo was ready to face it head-on. The science competition was held in the grand auditorium of Westfield Prep, a vast space usually reserved for prestigious guest lectures and donor events. Today, however, it had been transformed into a showcase of the brightest young minds in the country, a dazzling display of innovation and discovery. As Leo wheeled himself backstage, he could feel the eyes of the crowd upon him. Word of his story, of his struggles and triumphs, had spread far beyond the walls of the school. He was a celebrity now, a symbol of resilience and determination in the face of adversity. But he was also a threat. As he took his place among the other competitors, he could sense the hostility emanating from Jason and his father, who sat in the front row, their faces tight with anger and resentment. They knew that Leo represented a challenge to their power, a rebuke to the system of privilege and entitlement they embodied. The competition began, and one by one, the young scientists took the stage to present their projects. There were marvels of engineering and chemistry, breakthroughs in renewable energy and biomedical technology. Each presentation was met with polite applause and murmurs of appreciation from the judges and audience. Then it was Leo's turn. As he rolled to the center of the stage, the auditorium fell silent. All eyes were on him, waiting to see what the boy who had captured the heart of a nation would reveal. Leo took a deep breath and began to speak. He spoke of his love for science and space, of his dream of exploring the cosmos and pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. He spoke of the challenges he had faced, the discrimination and cruelty he had endured, and the strength he had found in the face of adversity. Then he unveiled his prototype. It was a marvel of engineering, a sleek and elegant device that promised to revolutionize space travel. As he demonstrated its capabilities, the audience gasped in amazement. The judges leaned forward in their seats, their eyes wide with wonder and admiration. In that moment, Leo knew he had won. Not just the competition, but something far greater. He had proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he belonged here, that his ideas and passions mattered, that he had something valuable to contribute to the world. As the judges conferred, Leo caught sight of Jason and his father, their faces contorted with rage and disbelief. They knew they had been beaten, that their power and influence had been challenged by something far stronger, the power of an unbreakable spirit and an unstoppable dream. The head judge stepped forward, a smile on her face. The winner of this year's national science competition, she announced, is Leo Martinez, for his groundbreaking work in plasma propulsion technology. The auditorium erupted in cheers and applause. Leo's friends and supporters rushed the stage, surrounding him in a joyous embrace. Tears streamed down his face as he basked in the warmth of their love and acceptance. But the greatest surprise was yet to come. As the cheers began to subside, a familiar figure stepped onto the stage, his eyes twinkling with pride and admiration. It was Elon Musk himself, come to congratulate Leo in person. "Leo," Musk said, his voice filled with emotion, "your work here today is a testament to the power of perseverance, innovation, and the human spirit. It's an honor to welcome you to the SpaceX team, effective immediately. Together, we're going to change the world." The aftermath of Leo's triumph was like a whirlwind. Overnight, he became a media sensation, his face splashed across newspapers and television screens around the world. Interviews and speaking engagements poured in, as did offers from top universities and tech companies eager to recruit the brilliant young scientist. But for Leo, the most meaningful change was the one he saw at Westfield Prep. In the wake of his victory and Elon Musk's public endorsement, the school administration could no longer ignore the systemic issues that had allowed bullying and discrimination to flourish. Under intense public scrutiny, the board of directors launched a comprehensive review of the school's policies and culture. Teachers and staff who had turned a blind eye to Jason's behavior were reprimanded or dismissed. New programs were put in place to promote inclusivity, diversity, and psychological safety. Most significantly, Jason and his father faced the consequences of their actions. Mr. Calloway, his reputation in tatters, was forced to resign from the board and withdraw his significant financial contributions. Jason, faced with irrefutable evidence of his bullying and sabotage, was expelled from Westfield Prep. It was a stunning fall from grace for the once untouchable golden boy, a harsh lesson in the consequences of cruelty and entitlement. But for Leo, the work was just beginning. Inspired by his own experiences and determined to make a lasting difference, he threw himself into advocating for change on a national scale. He partnered with organizations fighting for disability rights and educational equity, using his platform to raise awareness and push for policy reforms. His message resonated with people across the country, particularly those who had faced similar struggles. He received countless letters and emails from students, parents, and educators sharing their own stories of bullying, discrimination, and the fight for inclusion. Each one reinforced his resolve to keep pushing forward, to be a voice for those who had been silenced. At the same time, Leo dove headfirst into his work at SpaceX. The company's culture of innovation and boundary pushing was a perfect fit for his restless intellect and drive. He worked closely with Elon Musk and the top engineers, learning at a breathtaking pace and contributing his own groundbreaking ideas. His plasma propulsion prototype quickly evolved from a competition-winning concept to a viable technology with real-world applications. Under Leo's guidance, SpaceX began developing a new generation of spacecraft powered by his revolutionary engine design, promising to open up new frontiers in space exploration and commerce. Despite his packed schedule and high-pressure responsibilities, Leo made a point of staying connected to his roots. He frequently visited Westfield Prep, not as a student, but as a mentor and role model. He worked with the science club he had once led, encouraging and inspiring the next generation of innovators. He also made time for his family and friends, the people who had supported him through his darkest moments. His mother, who had worked tirelessly to provide for him and ensure he had every opportunity, burst with pride at every mention of his achievements. His closest friends from the science club became his trusted confidants and collaborators, joining him in his work at SpaceX and his advocacy efforts. As the years passed, Leo's impact only grew. His work at SpaceX helped usher in a new era of space travel, making it more accessible, affordable, and environmentally sustainable. His plasma propulsion technology became the standard for a new generation of spacecraft, revolutionizing everything from satellite deployment to interplanetary exploration. But it was his advocacy work that truly changed the world. The reforms he championed in education, disability rights, and STEM inclusion became national models, then international ones. Schools across the globe adopted policies to combat bullying and discrimination, to foster cultures of empathy and respect, and to nurture the potential of every student. Leo became a global icon, a symbol of the power of resilience, compassion, and innovation to transform lives and society. His TED Talks and best-selling books inspired millions, while his philanthropic foundation empowered countless more to pursue their dreams against all odds. Yet through it all, Leo remained grounded in the values and experiences that had shaped him. He never forgot the pain of being bullied, the despair of feeling alone and powerless. He never lost sight of the importance of kindness, of standing up for others, of fighting for what's right. In a world still grappling with the challenges of inequity, intolerance, and technological disruption, Leo Martinez stood as a beacon of hope and possibility. His story, once a tale of individual triumph over adversity, had become a testament to the collective power of compassion, inclusion, and the unshakable human spirit. And as he stood on the stage, accepting yet another award for his contributions to science and society, Leo knew that his journey was far from over. There were still more frontiers to explore, more minds to inspire, more battles to be fought and won. But he also knew that he would never have to face them alone. He had an army of supporters, a legion of dreamers and doers, ready to stand with him and carry the torch of progress forward. With a smile on his face and a fire in his heart, Leo Martinez looked to the future, ready to embrace whatever challenges and opportunities lay ahead. For he knew that no matter what obstacles he faced, he had the strength, the wisdom, and the love to overcome them. And with that knowledge, he knew that anything was possible.